One of these is an authentic David Yurman bracelet, estimated to be worth up to $3,900. The other, a total knockoff. With replicas steadily improving in quality and detail, it can be difficult to tell the difference. So, we headed to luxury consignment shop The RealReal to meet with one of its authenticity experts and learn some tips on how the average shopper can spot a knockoff.
I wanted to take a look with you at some pieces that are happily authenticated by our fine jewelry and watch team. We've got pieces of varying calibers, and then we have some pieces that we have some concerns about.
I do have to say I have absolutely no knowledge to base any decision on in terms of fine jewelry, but I'm going to give myself a goal of getting, let's say, 3 out of the 5 right.
So over here we have 2 iconic examples of the Van Cleef & Arpels Alhambra necklace, 20 motifs. Onyx, lapis are just 2 of the variations that they've produced over the years. What do you think?
Well, in terms of substantialness, I feel like this blue one has a little more weight to it.
Got some heft?
Immediately I notice on the lapis necklace, there are these little notches around the motif to hold it in place.
The other thing I would recommend is looking under magnification at the closure, because the French government is very precise about how they document fine materials and precious metals. If you look at the closure there, you might see that there's some stamps you may or may not like.
The 2 things that are really nudging me in one direction is looking at the prongs. These prongs on the onyx necklace seem much more finessed and more subtle, and I think this little extra detailing on the prongs and just like around the motif, it's like very shiny. It just looks more well made, I would say. And then seeing the full stamp makes me feel like this would be the real necklace and this is the fake one.
Nicely done. I absolutely agree with you. This is beautifully made. Let's move on to another French jeweler you may have heard of named Hermes. Well, the rookies call it Hermes. I would recommend calling it
Hermes.
We have right over here 2 bracelets that I think look very similar to the Hermes Click Clack. Why do you think they call it that?
Because it goes click clack. This is more of a pale gold, and this has a lot more yellow, almost brassiness to it. So there's a difference in that.
And that's the thing about Hermes. They are as famous and well regarded as they are for a reason. They have quality construction and they don't compromise on anything.
There's a gap in the resin here. There isn't one here.
Interesting.
So that looks sloppy. I think that is like the last clue that's pushing me into a decision to decide that this is the replica and this is the real one.
I would buy exactly the same one.
Oh my god,
Nicely
I really
done.
did not think I would get that one.
Why don't we move on to another iconic New York designer, Elsa Peretti for Tiffany. This is the bib necklace in sterling silver.
These are different.
One way to find out.
Feeling real confident about this one. The literal only difference I can spot in these is this little tag at the end of one of them.
Interesting.
I feel like, given the design of the necklace, and also that it is such an iconic design and an iconic brand, that they wouldn't put this little tag at the end of it, because it's kind of a distraction when you're tying it. I think it wouldn't need the tag to say that this is Tiffany. So I would go and say that the one without the tag is the real one and this is the replica.
Okay.
You don't look too good.
This is the authentic piece. And eventually, and by the time I got to work at Tiffany and bought my own, they started putting the tag on a plaque that more discreetly placed here.
Yes.
But the early iterations like this one, this is very representative of their early work.
I'm okay with that loss because that's hard.
Next up, does this look familiar?
That is the one that I could recognize without any help.
Fantastic.
Cartier Love,
Absolutely.
but that's as far as I can get.
Very iconic Cartier, and really very representative of New York in the 60s. It's one of those very classic pieces that really took them to the next level as a brand and remains one of their most iconic pieces to this day.
Oh wow, okay. So here, the inside engravings are totally different.
How so?
On this gold one, they're all neatly tucked into one section between two of the diamonds. But here it is like spread out all the way across this half.
And I think we could also side-by-side comparison these just to see construction-wise one big difference.
This screw is much more obvious.
Exactly.
There's two big screws here.
And it's engaged.
And it's engaged, and these come out.
You got it.
For those reasons and those differences, I would say this is the replica and this is the real one.
My friend, I have bad news. I love your methodology and I love where your head's at, but this is a great example of why we have to be so incredibly thorough. I'm happy to say that we can authenticate this one based on our archive of hallmarks that we see on both sides of the bracelet. I think you're doing a great job. You're 2 for 4, so I want to give you one last bonus round.
Okay.
With a twist. So you've got a bracelet stamped D. Yearman. The kind of thing we get in the luxury consignment office all the time.
These are popular, I know that.
It's one of our best sellers on
Yes.
The Real Real. So I'd love for your thoughts on this particular piece.
The one detail that I'm noticing that's pretty funny to me is at the very tips of each end where these topaz looking gems
Okay.
are. There seems to be, I don't know if it would be glue or something, but it's not totally clear. You can like see this cloudiness at the base of it where it's attached to the metal. I definitely have a yes for this one. And I think I got it down without even any of the fancy tools, which I'm pretty proud of. I'd say given the spring just looks very non-luxurious, especially with the wear it seems to have had over time. And I think the biggest clue here was this like glue mark on the stones. I would say that this is a replica and not the real thing.
I think you should feel very good about that.
Oh my gosh,
Nicely done.
God, strong finish here.
Thanks for coming in. It was a treat to meet you.
Thank you. Now which one of these do I get to take back as a goodie bag gift?
One of each. Absolutely.
Great.
Collect all 10.